What a year. You've definitely heard that line enough and had to deal with all of the Zoom calls, quarantines, masks out in public, and lack of hugs to stay safe. Creative Writing's 2 readings a year, Fall Off the Page and Spring Off the Page, have had to deal with the move to a new format, too. Suffice it to say, it's been quite the year.
But we've adapted to our new environment. That's why we're talking to you from our homes instead of the studio theater at PVA. We've gathered some of the best art our department has to offer in a wide range of submissions from poetry to surrealist videos, making it some of the best art the most talented young writers in the Houston area have to offer. It's been hard, but we're proud of their work and we'd love for all of you to enjoy it with us.
That's why this year's event is like many events at PVA, the first of its kind. We don't know if we'll be back in school in time for spring, but we're hopeful that even if we're staying virtual, talent will never fail to flourish no matter where it grows. Please put your digital hands together for Fall Off the Page. One of our first projects for the senior-junior year was the Time Machine Project, in which we would film an interview with our future selves. As you can imagine, this project was ripe with possibilities, and Ellis Wilkins-Haverkamp was a particular standout. It was engaging and posed many interesting questions, but it was as funny as it was poignant. And so, with that, we encourage you to sit on the edge of your seat and enjoy our first piece.
Welcome everybody to the first episode of my new series, A Look Beyond, work in progress. In this series of videos, I will be utilizing the advent of time vortex technology to bring the future to you. But first, why not a little Q&A with the creator? But not with myself, of course. Please welcome to the stage, all the way from the year 2082, myself. Alright. Yeah. He's the guy. Alright, how are you doing, Mr. Ellis?
Out of darkness, my old friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, please don't mind the bag I've placed over my own head. I don't necessarily want to look at my old, withering, frail future self. It makes me afraid. Very afraid.
Boy, get this off of me. It smells like Pepsi in here.
I'm afraid I cannot remove the bag. Wait, the last thing that was in there was celery.
Yeah, they changed the recipe in 2050.
To celery.
We're not supposed to talk about it.
And that leads us into our first question. Right. Alright, I gotta ask. How's the knee?
Oh, I don't know. Did you keep doing the exercises your physical therapist told you to do?
I mean, yeah, for a little while after physical therapy I was doing the exercises.
No, you didn't. How do you think it is? Give me another question, boy. You got better ones than that. Talking about how's the knee, like you don't know how it is. Do a squat right now. How's the knee?
Alright then, here's a hard hitter. What do you remember about the year 2020?
Where do I? 2020.
You doing alright? Is it bag that stuffy? I didn't think it was that bad. I could be wrong, I guess.
Ah!
What's going on, dude? You good? You need some water?
I remember everything. What year did you say you came from again?
2020.
I'm so sorry.
That's fine. Okay, why don't you tell me about the political climate? I mean, do our votes start actually counting in the future?
Or what? What? The Vocus Pocus. What was that word you said?
You know, vote, like when we put in a ballot and decide who we want as the president, like the whole democracy thing.
Oh, shoot. We are in 2020, aren't we? Wow, I haven't heard that word since then. Voting and Democracy. Wow, that's like Shakespearean for you, boy. That's some...
Wait. So,
Wow.
does Trump win the election?
Oh, God, no. No. Everybody wanted him out the White House. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, that was...
Did Donald Trump...
Yeah.
No, he just wouldn't leave.
What?
Yeah, he wouldn't leave. I mean, people tried to go in and physically move him out, but he threatened to sue him, and no one was going to come back from that, so he just kind of sat there. He just stayed there, he sat there. Meanwhile, Joe Biden, that exact same day, vanished off the face of the earth very conveniently and suddenly. It's sort of a legend in 2082, you know, the great disappearance of Joe Biden. Yep.
Trump had Joe Biden kidnapped.
No. Donald Trump has not and will not kidnap and murder Joe Biden, and has not been planning to do so for months leading up to the election. That would never happen.
Yeah, right. Okay, but what about Kamala Harris? I mean, she was still around, right? Wouldn't she have made president by default?
Boy, what country do you think we're talking about here? You think they're not going to find some excuse to not make a woman the president? A woman of color the president? In 2020, I mean, shoot. It's 2082 where I'm from, and they haven't even fixed the gender wage gap yet. And then there's the Klan.
Please don't tell me the KKK still isn't labeled as a terrorist organization.
Oh nah, the KKK is long gone. It's the Neo-KKK you gotta worry about.
The Neo-K... Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah. I haven't even talked about the cops yet.
Okay. Why don't we talk about something positive? What was the best thing about growing up and getting to be your own person?
Let me tell you something. Your whole life, you're gonna feel limited to the expectations of others. Now, you have a right to your own progress and speed and pace and your own personal goals and expectations, but everybody, especially older folks, is gonna try to bog you down with their own expectations for you.
Yeah, I definitely feel that every single day of my life.
Now, there's a lot not to like about where I am. I mean, the responsibilities and work never really go away.
Crap.
And 6 years later, I'm still weird about talking to cashiers.
Yikes.
But what does go away is that fear to be yourself. I'm on the top now, man. I'm old. I'm old as heck. There's nobody left to judge me except for me. Why should I worry about fitting in and peer pressure and tradition and kids saying, okay, Zoomers?
Oh god, are people starting to say that?
Yeah.
Gross.
Uh-huh.
Then what is there to like about right now? I mean, it seems like the world is crumbling around us and Gen Z knows what to do and how to fix it, but nobody's listening.
Well, there's two types of freedom that come with different age groups. And yours is the freedom to make mistakes. No matter what anybody says, there's no expectations for you that are super high. You're only limited by what you expect for yourself, but even then, you have time to fix and make amends for the future. You still have time. Embrace that freedom. Embrace the people around you and the connections you get to make right now. Because God knows they're enough to last you a lifetime. And I don't think I'd be here without them.
Hi everybody. I'd like to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, the homies. I love you guys to death, and in 2082 that hasn't changed a bit.
Gentlefolk, that's going to do it for today's episode of A Look Beyond, Work in Progress. Special thanks to myself for being today's special guest.
Yeah, baby, it was a good time.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, your treatment of interviewees looks a little suspicious considering you tied an 80-year-old man to a chair and put a bag over his head, but whatever, yo, we're just chilling.
Alright, you get to go back where you came from before our proximity causes a paradox.
Yeah, I'm fading from this reality as we speak. Yeah.
I'll see you next time for another enlightening interview. Thank you.
Hey, let's hear it for Ellis. Okay, this next piece is a call to action. It was written to the lead up in the election and centers around many aspects of politics that happened this year, incorporating Supreme Court hearings and pending cases regarding the Affordable Health Care Act. Let's hear it for Eli and Shelby.
Serious illness can hit anyone unexpectedly. It did for me, and when it does, no one should have to worry about whether they can afford the care that might save their life. We are in an age of obsession about an illness that is survivable but not controllable, that leaves its victims with stunted lungs and depleted senses, that leaves pre-existing conditions, scars in the body, proof of survival to trap survivors in a medical Ouroboros of medication, of treatment, of a pre-existing condition that is anything chronic, anything from before illness, anything inescapable to turn the body into a prison of expenses. Pre-existing conditions like pregnancy, like my body's ability to create and renew life, the expectation to become a mother, the function compared to moonbeams and flowers, and anything romanticized, like losing healthcare romanticized, like MS, the slow degradation of the nervous system, a body eating itself alive, the thief of autonomy that reached into every aspect of my mother and stole her away from me. Like mental health, the unfurling of all these neurons, trying to keep track of the swirls inside your head, climbing out of rabbit holes you fell in, and grasping the air for something to get you out of the stuffing of your skull. It's hard enough to access therapy as it is. Like transsexualism, the empty word that never held the way my skin sits wrong on my bones. The misalignment of my chromosomes is not an illness, but it has been reduced to a medical expense, to a chronic condition. Up to 50% of Americans live with chronic conditions. President Obama expanded protections for everyone struggling under the weight of a permanent impairment. The Affordable Care Act forbids insurance agencies from denying care due to pre-existing conditions. They are eating it alive. 1 week after the election, it goes on trial. The Supreme Court could take a single flaw and use it to cripple the entire system, pull out one support, and the entire healthcare house of cards comes crashing down, leaving those struggling under the weight of the coronavirus pandemic without the insurance of aid in their time of need. And maybe healthcare shouldn't be up for debate when over 200,000 Americans have been undertaken by this disease. And maybe healthcare shouldn't be up for debate when I'm not back in school due to the dangers of catching the virus. And maybe healthcare shouldn't be up for debate when a coherent response to the rising case count is still missing in action. And maybe healthcare shouldn't be up for debate before aid has passed for those crumbling under the pandemic economy. Healthcare shouldn't be up for debate, especially in a courtroom closed to the public. Healthcare is a fight for American lives. Democracy dies in silence, and we can't let the government strip down and steal healthcare without comment, without protest, without having to face the repercussions of their decimation. No one exists outside this system, so none of us can afford to lose this system. Speak up, speak out. Don't let the people in power forget. If you take away healthcare, you have blood on your hands, one way or another. All of us will need help one day, and when we do, no one should have to worry about whether they can afford care that might save their life.
Wonderfully done, Shelby and Eli. Well written and well choreographed. Our next piece from Pearl Reagler explores how unhealthy patterns can be passed down from generation to generation and is inspired by real events. Take heed and enjoy, everyone.
When I learned to drive, people used to come here. They would watch me and their eyes were warm on my back. Now everything is a coffin. The air around me is a coffin, my body's a coffin, and so on.
Now they don't come by anymore. They don't watch me, except for the woman behind the blinds in the antique shop, who may not be watching at all.
Who may not be a woman.
Who may not be a person.
Who may not even be alive. When the police come, people scatter.
Nobody has a permit. Nobody who comes here is supposed to.
I didn't have a good relationship with my parents.
You light a cigarette in the seat next to me.
My father would smoke, so I would too.
That's no excuse.
But we all learned to drive here.
The first time putting my hands on the wheel. The first time to turn on the blinker. The first turn.
There is comfort in routine. Driving's routine.
The first stop sign full of bullet holes.
Smoking is routine.
The first time ordering food at a drive-thru. The first time parking.
Teaching someone to drive, however, is not a routine but a rite of passage.
The first time running a red light. The first time smoking a cigarette.
When I was 15, my father taught me to drive here.
I am 15 and you're teaching me to drive.
He put his hand over mine on the wheel.
You're a backseat driver.
He reminded me to check my mirrors.
You always remind me to check my mirrors.
He would cough up blood in the passenger seat. He learned to smoke from his father.
You make the car smell like soot, and I hate it.
And his father learned to smoke from his father, and he learned to smoke from his father, and him from him, and him from him. It goes on and on.
I tell you to stop smoking in the car.
When I was young, I deluded myself by opting to chew tobacco.
I'm afraid because I crave that smell. It reminds me of my grandfather.
But then I noticed the highways crossing each other, twirling and doubling back. I saw how in the end they all went the same direction.
So what was the use? I spin the car around and you tell me to stop. You say we look like criminals waiting for sunset.
It's inevitable, immeasurable, spectacular curses.
I pray for the dark. I want this to be over.
I feel like I'm failing you.
I want to leave and run and go somewhere that feels new. I want to feel the cement under my feet, the warmth it still holds from the setting sun.
Maybe it's your fault I'm failing. I couldn't think of a good word to say if I tried.
I get out of the car. I think I'm running now. Running into the night. You don't follow me.
I feel like somehow this is your fault.
I stand in the middle of the parking lot. Nobody is there and it's dark. I see you in the car, the smoke dripping out into the night air. And I realize I'm alone. I open my eyes. I see the highways and the buildings and how they light up in the black haze. I see how the cars are all headed to different places, home or school or someone else's home, the grocery store. I feel the gravel under my feet, the air on my skin, separating sweaty strands of hair from the back of my neck. Everything is so silent and I feel safe. I stand there, you watch me, and we don't move.
We both learned to drive here.
We both learned to drive here.
This piece by Eli Johns-Krull is an exploration of wandering, to walk beyond what seems familiar. We encourage you, viewer, to walk along with this wanderer, into a place without comfort, whether that be your wish or not.
Today you kick up snowbanks of a river that curls in on itself. Paperclip, conch shell, swirled lock that opens the world into twin pieces, half globes, geodes of ice blue diamonds. The core of this planet is cold as a body in winter, a corpse the moment before discovery. A flood is coming. It brews on the edges of your vision as you walk the riverbank. In another life you would leave a trail of crumbs, but now there is nothing to return to. The arithmetic of your situation escapes you, but a few truths stick at the corner of your mind, held fast enough the gales of forgetfulness cannot seal them away. Exile is a funny word, but it suits you well enough, doesn't it? Wanderer, doomed to perish in the chill, to walk until your body halves itself, splits into twin pieces, and you fall into the rising water. You wonder if the stream will wash you away, will carry you down, down, down into the gemstone heart to be entombed in the winter. You wonder if you will be left here in the snowbank, if the world will not want you, even in death. You wonder if anyone will remember to miss you.
Let's have a round of applause for that amazing video poem. Okay guys, and this next writer wanted to trace her fascination with poets as celebrity figures through her own personal experiences. She decided to write about poets, why she loves them, and why she hopes to be one someday. So let's all hear it for Shelby and Twitter Poets.
I check Twitter every morning to see who my favorite poets retweet. I imagine their hands stained with ink from writing sonnets by candlelight hours after the city falls asleep, scouring the internet for the perfect piece of witty wisdom worthy enough to share with the wider world. I know that poets probably don't overthink Twitter as much as I do, but I woke up this morning to find I was retweeted by my favorite poet. A tweet that was basically a love letter to her, and in all the internet's infiniteness, she found my tweet and left behind 3 yellow hearts, glowing like 3 suns rising over the mountains. This follows the day I drove 2.5 hours to Austin to see 2 of my favorite poets perform. I sat in the back row watching the theater's lights sparkle off my Doc Martens, and the lights dimmed and they walked on stage. I saw faces I recognized from rewatching hours of button poetry videos on YouTube, But now they were in front of me. They were real people, real living, breathing, glowing people who made my tear ducts work overtime to keep myself from crying at the pure wonder I felt from seeing them. Freshman year of high school, I went to the Texas Book Festival for the first time, a place overflowing with poets giving readings and signing books, talking to other poets, standing in line at Starbucks for coffee. I asked a poet to sign a book of his poetry that I had bought, his pen staining the pages with inky train tracks. I told him, "I read one of your poems at school." He asked, "Which one?" And I couldn't remember because my tongue was caught in a bundle of nerves, so I scurried away with a red face and a new book. My friend snapped a picture of me, mouth agape and eyes fixated on my newly procured autograph. How can one person contain galaxies of words in them? How can they write stanzas of feelings I didn't know words could describe? How can they make me feel like they're sending text messages to my subconscious, replying to tweets in my heart's arteries? I think what I'm trying to say is, poets are pretty amazing people, and I'd do anything to be one day.
Well done, Shelby. I think we all have a little of Twitter poets inside all of us. Our next piece by Isobel Perez, well, I'll let it speak for itself. If you like the creepy crawlies, you're in for a ride with this one.
The centipedes. Centipedes are a class of arthropods that live on land. What appear to be jaws are actually a pair of hollow, modified legs containing poison glands. These assist centipedes in their carnivorous feeding habits. The bite of this large centipede is dangerous.
In our upcoming piece, a young talent, Vera Caldwell, felt touched and drawn by topics of a more somber matter. Impacted by her experiences with the less than savory parts of this world, In this video, Vera explores the ideas and hidden weaknesses of our society in the new light.
Every evening, I pick up all my hairs from the floor, shining in the orange sun like russet tinfoil after a birthday party or a wedding. When I go to weddings, I hide from the bouquet toss with the bathroom mirror or under the polyester tablecloth. And someone mentions the children I'll have one day, even though I could never have children because they could break my body in life. I see my reflection in their eyes and notice that they have already broken apart my body and put it back together, and it looks wrong now because I'm not me anymore. I glimpse my own sweat on broken glass by the side of the road when I walk at night, but I don't have time to look closer because I have to get home soon, someone told me, especially in these clothes. One day I fear my room will explode and I will be exposed to political abstractions and become weak and mute, and all the best parts of me will die. But tonight I tap out the essential oils, 4 drops bergamot and 5 drops frankincense, and when I breathe in the vapor, I feel my lungs clench slightly, like the words in a line delivered wrong. But I'm beyond worrying. Turn down the lights, I'm giving myself the slow dance I never had and was too numb to miss.
Wow, that was amazing, Vera. Right, guys? Let's hear it. All right, and this next piece is a creative take inspired by a new quarantine hobby. Let's hear it for Caroline.
Most of the shelves above my desk contain books, but one exists simply to look nice. It houses 6 ink pots of varying colors and 2 glass dip pens. The pot of sienna ink is 1/8 empty, or 7/8 full if you're an optimist, in which case, hello, I thought you'd gone extinct. Having been used to write 4 or 5 letters to friends with varying degrees of calligraphic proficiency. I switch between cursive and print, depending on what I know my friends can read, cursing under my breath as the glass pen runs out of ink midway through a letter. Once I finish, I use the special kit my friend got me for Christmas and stamp my first initial into molten blue wax on the envelope's edges. The process would feel torturously slow if it wasn't so therapeutic. After all, the world is stuck moving along at a snail's pace. Why not turn to snail mail to cope? Writing letters is, as many adults complain, an uncommon pastime these days. That actually strengthens the allure. Letters to loved ones are no longer quotidian forms of communication, tossed away as quickly as deleted emails. They're gifts. Friends and teachers alike describe the experience of receiving a letter as magical when I tell them about my hobby. Writing a letter to someone is a small moment of joy sealed in an envelope for someone else to discover. Now that the current administration has made it clear that the United States Postal Service isn't so much an essential business to them as it is an irritant, letter writing has also taken on a more self-important bent for me. I'm not wasting paper, I'm saving democracy! Writing letters is a lot more effort than text messages or emails, which can get overwhelming. I don't always use ink pots and calligraphy or seal the envelope with wax. I'm in my senior year of high school. I'm applying to colleges, voting in elections, and studying for my 3 AP classes, plus all of 2020's general nonsense, which I won't waste time cataloging here. Sometimes colorful pens and a cute stamp are all I have the energy to manage. The thing is, with letter writing, the bare minimum is more than enough to impress whomever you're writing to. You wrote someone a letter in 2020. That's buck wild. Unearth some envelopes and pick up some stamps from the post office. I'm sure someone in your life would like to hear from you.
Awesome, Caroline. It's remarkable that you managed to find such a cool hobby within all of the crazy happening in the world right now. Our next piece is titled Metatron by Henry Odell. You may recognize the Metatron as an archangel found throughout various strains of mysticism within the three Abrahamic religions. Henry was inspired by various short filmmakers that made surrealist videos with nonlinear visuals that told their narrative. This is a good one, folks. I'd strap in.
For our next piece, we are thrilled to be treated to an original composition and song by the one and only Eva Trakhtman. She was inspired by an interaction she had with a friend who was buying a betta fish.
Yesterday you said you're busy and I lost my hair. Yesterday you slept too late and thought I wouldn't care. I hope you can forgive me if I'm coming on too strong. But maybe we should go to Hong Kong. I read there's an aquarium the world has never seen. It glistens in the moonlight and everything seems green. I hope you can forgive me if you're feeling like you're trapped. Admit our love is not abstract. You are my pretty little fish, my little tiny betta fish. I love it when you're angry and you puff up your fins. You are a tiny little thing, and please forgive me if you think that you will ever leave my side. Forget about goodbye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, goodbye. The other day you said it lonely, I said you're wrong. You're only single 'cause you've never been to Milan. I hope you can forgive me if I'm coming on too strong. But maybe we should go to Milan. There's a catwalk and a strange parade, a memory that wouldn't fade. I lose myself to you every day, and I hope you can forgive me if I don't let you cut your own bread. I hope our love is not in my head. You are my pretty little fish, my little tiny betta fish. I love it when you're angry and you puff up your fins. You are a tiny little thing, and please forgive me if you think
was incredible, Eva. Moving on, the writer for this next piece was inspired by their own mental health through these last few months and what that might be like in the years to come. Let's give it up for Ty.
Ooh, the call is going through. Hey, Ty from the future. Whoa, you look like you haven't aged a day.
Yeah, no, that's just the filter I've applied. Technology really knows how to work wonders. You seriously think we had time to take care of our appearance? Funny.
Yeah, good point. Gotta stay consistent.
So what's this call about? I don't remember making it.
How could you forget meeting yourself from the future?
There was a lot going on.
Speaking of a lot going on, I have a couple of questions for you based on what you remember from when you were 16.
Alright, hit me with the hard ones.
Is that a futures thing?
No, I thought it was from 2020.
No.
Oh.
Anywho, first question. What was your mental state like throughout quarantine?
Oh god, it's not good. I think at the start it was just really helpful to be home all the time, as you remember. But as time went on, my ambivert side really came out and social interaction became quite vital. I mean, I didn't leave the house until like July. I had a mask, but I never wore it because I never went anywhere.
Oh, oof. In terms of masks, what did you think of having to wear one?
Oh, I had no major opinion at first because, like I said,
you never went outside.
Yeah, but wearing one was actually really fun. I mean, not having people see my nasty face, sign me up. They weren't always comfortable to wear, but let's be honest. In comparison to what medical professionals had to do in terms of masks, the general public was lucky.
And with the prospect of ever going back to school, what did you think of that?
I don't really know. I wanted to, because education, online school wasn't as engaging, and I had places to be when I was younger. I wanted to be a gastroenterologist, so...
we become one?
Spoilers. Things for sure changed, I can say that with confidence. It did allow me more time with my family and pets, to be home and not at school. I think ultimately helping my mental health.
Does our anxiety ever go away?
Spoilers!
Well, thank you for the answers. I'll let you get back to it.
You too, pay attention in class. I got really off. Like really off.
Oh.
In case you didn't quite catch it, Ty's last piece, Time Machine, was spelled T-Y-M-E like their name. It's the little stuff. Our last piece of the night is by Ella Craig, and it's called Visitation. I'll let it take you to new worlds itself, and believe me, you will be taken. Thank you, everyone. We hope you enjoy.
Let's give it up for all of our performers tonight.
Wow, what a show. That was great, wasn't it, y'all?
It sure was.
Which one did you enjoy the most?
They were all my favorite.
I couldn't bring myself to choose. Well, thank you all very much for coming to this year's Fall Off the Page.
The show was so exciting. I can't wait to see Spring Off the Page.
Wait, that's funny.
It's just the name of the show.
But it's Spring Off the Page. You get it? There you go.
Okay, Elijah. Regardless, have a great night, everyone, and we hope to see you next year. Bye.
Bye.